Welcome to Bears in Exile. Today is April 19th. I'm going to take a quick look at TNA. And as you can see, yesterday we had our news-driven event. This is the weekly, by the way. And today it gapped down and right into the middle of the short-term moving average. You'll notice the long-term moving average still is not showing any weakness whatsoever. It'll take quite a bit more punishment for this to do anything. Very, very strong overall trend underneath this. Now on the daily, this was nice. Opened a little bit higher, and we have crossover of the short-term moving average, and it is going into the long-term moving average for a test. Long-term moving average has a tiny bit of compression, not much yet, but it is also moving sideways. Now, it can look like this for a good amount of time, but the longer it stays in here or on top of it, the more it will shrink and become weaker. For the moment, it is catching everything and holding it, which is great, giving it an opportunity to turn back up. A little bit surprised it didn't do better than it did today, but that's how it goes sometimes. You'll notice the secondary moving average, the secondary indicators, stochastics is way low, RSI is on its way down, approaching oversold. These don't really matter, they can just go wherever they want to and go to sleep, so don't give them too much weight. MACD is a little bit stronger, but and it's showing that it's headed down. Personally, I think that this is going to hold and it's going to go back up, but that's just speculation on my part. The short-term moving average really it should have done more here. If it was going to do a whole lot of damage, I would have thought that it would have already pierced the long-term moving averages already, but it hasn't. Even with all of these bars inside the long-term moving average, the short terms still have not gone in, except for this one little straggler. But if it had been really, really strong, it should have done it 3 days ago, maybe 4. So yeah, this isn't as bad as it initially looks to me anyway. On the 60-minute, we already had a test once, and see, that looks so strong. Crossed over, it was shooting right through it. Then we had our news-driven event, created a bubble. The bubble corrected, healed itself, but failed this first test, and now it looks like it's going up for another test. We already have crossover. It looks like it's going to happen before it tries entering the bar, so long as this strength holds. And that tells me that we should hit at least the second bar from the top on the test. Typically, whether it fails or not, should get right into that range. It looks to me about the $83 area. On the 30-minute, see that first test actually got all the way through it, but the bubble was just too darn big. That was at the conclusion of yesterday. Today came down, which for a bubble, see all of that expansion? That's pretty significant. So this much of a correction to fix that bubble, it's maybe a little bit overdone, but it is what it is. Look, it came down so fast it created its own little bubble here, fixed itself. We had a crossover prior to entering the bar again, signifying strength. A little tongue twister, and now it's just sitting over there. Now, if this turns into a double flat line, it's not a good sign. We need more information, but if we do see this turn into a double flat line, that will be a warning on the 15-minute, at which point it'll be able to shoot off in either direction pretty decisively. So I would much rather have the trend appear that it's trying to do something and having to stop behind that movement rather than having no direction and it just does whatever it wants to do. And on the 5 minutes, it has already moved over long-term moving averages. Moving averages have established themselves. It's very weak, but at least it's there. And we do have a one bounce off, forming going into a flat line. Now if this separates, this is only a 5-minute bar, so I mean this is going to do all kinds of stuff right away. But if this separates, we'd have this bounce would be good and could continue up a decent way. It's always good to come through, test, and bounce off. It's always a strong indication. In this case, we'll have 2 bounces before it shoots off, if it shoots off. But if that target earlier of around $83 is correct, then that'll be way up here, and this will need to bounce off and go on its merry way. So positive, neutral, a little bit of a bearish bias, but we have a flip over of the short-term moving averages, so although bearish bias due to the bar existing, if this does complete and go up, it'll be very strong to do some serious damage, if not a complete thrust through it. On the 60-minute, yet to be seen. If these other ones do make a move up, 60-minute will at least do a test of the bottom of the bar before deciding what it wants to do with itself. Notice also this that'll be the very top of the Bollinger Band, so sort of something to keep in mind, but not something to say, oh, the Bollinger Band's there, I'm in big trouble. And on the daily, does have that penetration, but the long-term moving averages are still holding strong. I would give the benefit of the doubt to the bulls at this juncture. The short-term moving averages just do not look strong for taking it out. And thank you for watching the video on TNA. Please drop by our website, bearsinexile.com. We have a forum, we have several different features. Come by and try us out. It is completely free. It will always be free, and hope you like this video. As always, your investment decisions are your own. This chart and video are for entertainment, educational, and time-consuming purposes only. Thank you very much.